I'm starting my 7-day hike of the Skye Trail on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. I'm just leaving Broadford now, which might not make a ton of sense, but basically I'm hiking the route from the south to the north instead of north to south for a couple of reasons. I wanted to end with a better view. That's really the only reason. I don't even know if that's a good reason. I think the weather will actually also work out in my favor to do it that way. I think I'm gonna get a little bit better weather on the Trotternish Ridge with this breakdown of days. Fingers crossed. I think you can see Broadford in the distance. I had a super amazing Airbnb experience there. They had a deck that overlooked the water. I had seafood for dinner that was so yummy. And then I just watched the sunset. Good last day in a bed before 3 nights of tent camping and then a break in Portree. Hello, friend. It's starting to drizzle just a little bit, but honestly it feels pretty good right now. Hopefully it doesn't start raining harder. It's bound to at some point. Just like that, Scottish rain is here. The rain will be blowing towards my back. That's good. Slowed down a little bit, which is good, but it's pretty windy too. So windy. I've been really lucky. I didn't realize until I was like climbing that hill to get the camera that I've been taking a shot with it had fallen over. I've been lucky to have my back to this wind pretty much all day so far. Okay, this hike is gonna be insane. It's so pretty. I cannot believe that I get to hike here. So I've stopped to take my first little rest snack break. I don't actually know what time it is. I have no clue. 12:08, so maybe I should eat lunch. I found this little rock to block me from the wind that's coming from that direction. And I have a pretty good view, and there's also a super cute little baby lamb. I'm currently watching these 3 little baby lambs run about and jump all over these rocks, and I don't think it's close enough for the camera, but it's pretty cute and sweet. Just taking a quick little break because I found a rock that holds up my backpack perfectly. So I don't even have to take it off. So nice. I had downloaded a Gaia Maps subscription last year for the Tour du Mont Blanc, and it still hasn't been a year, so I still have access. I think it was like $30 for the year. But then on the Walk Highlands website, they had GPX files that you could download for each stage of this hike. So you can see the trail is kind of color-coded by day. So I'm on this Bradford to Torrin day, and I'm probably about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way done, I would say. Over halfway for sure. But it's really convenient because this trail doesn't have like markings or signs. Today it's been a pretty clear pathway, but it's still nice to have this to ensure I'm in the right spot. And it does work with airplane mode as well. This last bit of trail, which is really more like a road that leads to some like stables for sheep, has been so windy. Luckily it hasn't been very scenic either, so I've just been hiking like this, using my hat brim to like block the wind and rain pellets. This little hill, I think, is blocking some of the wind. There's a nice little river. Yeah, so just like taking a standing break here to appreciate not being blasted in the face with wind. Basically this road just meets up with a more legit road, which then takes you into Torrin. Kind of hoping that the cafe is still open. I might try to get like a tea and some kind of treat before finishing along to my campsite. I have seen hundreds of sheep today. I don't know how many, probably like 400, I don't know. Maybe that's exaggerating, maybe not. I'm obsessed. Oh, it's getting windy again. We are a mile away from Torrin. For most of that mile, it's just going to be walking along roads. So nothing exciting, but I'm glad to be facing a different direction than straight into the wind right now. So as you can probably tell and hear, it's incredibly windy. I probably did not pick the best spot for my tent. I don't know. I'm hoping this spot isn't going to be too windy so that you can hear me, because I feel like I have a lot to share, a lot to catch you up on. I have not really been able to film me speaking since like 4 p.m. yesterday because it's been so windy. It's been very, very windy. I think it was saying on the internet the winds are 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 40 something. I don't know. I don't know how to read wind very well. Last night was insane, but I guess, okay, there's a few stories that I want to share so I don't forget. Half the reason I make these videos is because I forget my life so easily, and so it's helpful for me to remember, I don't know, just important little stories and things that happen. So first little story, As I was nearing the stone quarry that you get to before Torrin, I ran across a couple who's actually local. They live in Torrin. They were out walking their 2 giant dogs, and they started chatting with me and, were asking about the Skye Trail. Was it my first time? I said it was. The man had said that he'd done this trail several times in his lifetime, and he said people today use the word epic way too often, but this trail, especially parts that I'll get to later, he said are deserving of the word epic. And after I see these parts of the trail, I will no longer call anything else epic in my life. So that was really sweet. They were really kind. Then I got to Torrin, which is just a small little town. There's a cake shop that's open until 5. And so I went there, had some tea, which was so nice and warm, and had a piece of lavender cake, lemon something cake. So I then walked a little past Torrin to where I set up my campsite. Yeah. From then on, it was pretty brutal. Oh, there's a really pretty bird song. It was pretty brutal because the wind just did not stop. Luckily, I was able to get my tent up okay and get inside, and then it was just battering against my tent throughout the entire night. There were 2 times that the tent stake outside one of my doors came loose. One was like right around 9:30, and so luckily I was able to put it in, secure it better, and then I was able to get to sleep for a decent amount of time. Then around 5 or 6, that same tent stake came loose again, so I had to fix it, and I wasn't as successful at fixing it, so one of the flaps kept kind of coming loose. So that was pretty miserable too. I'd brought my camp stove, but I wasn't able to use it to cook dinner because it was too windy. I had the rest of my sandwich. I wasn't able to use it to make coffee in the morning. So I ended up packing up my tent and getting started on my hike for today. I'm hiking from Torrin to Elgol, and I was thinking, once I come across a place that's nice and sheltered from the wind, I'll set up my camp stove, make myself coffee, it's gonna be fine. I didn't have to do that. I passed a little RV set up. A couple comes out with their dog, and they were speaking French, but I understood the word un café, a coffee. So basically they were offering for me to come in and have a coffee, and they were so sweet, so kind. We were able to communicate a little bit. The woman spoke a little bit of English, and I used Google Translate to kind of share how my night had gone, what I was planning for my trip, all of that kind of thing. The couple was showing me pictures. They've been on a big RV trip through Scotland. They went all the way up to the very northern part near Cape Wrath. And she was saying basically since May 6th, they've had unbelievable, sunny, beautiful weather. And then this just started yesterday. Of course, the day I started my hike. But they were so kind. It was so nice to have coffee in the warmth and not have to worry about trying to set up my stove in this wind. And from there, I've just been walking. Today, a decent amount of the hike is up in trees, which I'm hoping will protect me some from the wind. I'm always blown away again and again by how kind people are. And yeah, it makes trips like this a lot better. Just passed a girl probably around my age coming from Elgol, and she was saying she stayed in a buffy there last night, which is kind of like a dorm cabin type setup. She was saying there were 40 people staying in there, and she's surprised my tent didn't break, and I'm like, girl, same. I don't know how that worked out. I'm pretty sure there's a Scottish song or saying Auld Lang Syne. I'm pretty sure it says something about may the wind be always at your back. I never understood until today, hiking with the wind at my back for a change, what a blessing that was to wish upon someone. Like, epitome of blessings to wish upon someone. It's been really nice. There's a little bit of blue hiking through. 3 cows blocking the path. I don't know what to do about that. Hello? Maybe I can go around them? Well, I made some friends. I have a feeling they might be following me for a little while, but I made it around them safely, so I'm just gonna walk slowly. I think they're just chilling. You're okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Just walk slowly. I have been up on this hill for the last 30 or so minutes. I'm less than 30 minutes outside of Elgol, but I've been up here because someone hacked my old credit card and also had my Gmail. And so luckily they send the notifications to my dad because for whatever reason he still has access to my credit card, even though it's been like 10 years since he's done anything for it. But he was able to call them from the States and get it canceled. I got like 110 spam emails of them trying to do things too. So that's annoying. Hopefully now that the credit card's canceled, that deters them from doing anything else with my information. So yeah, I've been literally dealing with that issue like up here. And I'm just so ready to be done like hiking in the wind and cold and just like settle in for the day. So that's the trail. Did not realize it was going to be this sketchy. Well, we're doing all right. I'm pretty sure I can see the place where I'm going to be setting up my tent for tonight. I think it's raining out there. Nice and dry in here. Pretty good view to wake up to. Oh, yum, that coffee is delicious. And I also made some oatmeal. Sadly, it's time to start taking down the tent and start out on day number 3. The weather was a lot better last night. Luckily, it did get pretty windy at one point, but nothing compared to yesterday. Yeah, it's been a beautiful campsite. I'm enjoying my first break of the day, having some dried mango, of course. Midges had been better the last 2 days, probably because the weather was so bad and it was so windy and rainy, but they are out today, so I'm very glad that I have the spray smidge. Seems to be working okay to keep them off my face and everything. Yeah. There's a little otter out in the ocean. Aww. Oh my gosh. I realize my other camera can zoom in closer, but it's gonna be super shaky. Oh, I think he's eating a fish or something. Oh gosh, the midges are getting me. That twice and I have to do it again. We're making progress today. I think we're over halfway. It's been a really beautiful walking through the valley. A lot of the trail is like wet, and so you have to like step on different rocks and stuff. And I'm just like, ouch, my feet hurt. I think I'm only about a mile outside of Skye now. Sorry, I'm probably saying that completely wrong. I think I'm gonna try to stop in the pub or restaurant or whatever and get something to eat. I had a really yummy dinner at the little pub. I had Cullen skank for the first time, which was delicious. It's basically a soup with potatoes, onions, and like a smoked haddock, I think. What I'm doing right now is just hiking another 2 miles or so that I'm a little bit closer to where I want to be tomorrow. I'm following a pair of 2 other hikers up ahead. And of course there are numerous sheep. My shoes also got totally waterlogged on that section after the restaurant, so I'm glad I wasn't trying to do that in the morning, in which case I would have been hiking with wet shoes all day, whereas at least now hopefully they'll dry out some. We will see. I made it into my tent for the night. I have an excellent view. The trail between where I'm at from here to Skye was definitely one of the sketchiest parts of trail I did. It was completely eroded in some parts, and so you had to like go down to the rocky section along the water. All along that section, I was following this couple and they knew I was following them, and it was really sweet. They waited for me after they had gotten through that incredibly sketchy section to make sure that I made it through okay. The guy joked, he's like, yeah, we just wanted to see if you made it through, because if you didn't, we'd run and grab your bag and leave, which was funny. But they were a German couple. The woman's name was, I think, Frederica, and then the man's name was Carl. They were really friendly, and so I just kind of followed them for a little while after we got through that super sketchy section, and then I found this nice little camp spot. There's a camper on the other side of me, on the other side of me. My feet are wrecked physically and in terms of being just a complete disaster of mud and mess. Good morning. I've made my coffee. Yesterday was a really tough day for me. It wasn't a lot of like up and downs. I think it was just constantly walking on like rocks and marshy areas and trying to like jump from rock to rock to avoid getting my shoes wet. But my shoes inevitably got wet and my feet were just pretty sore. Today it'll mostly just be road walking, and I'm hoping to do it fairly quickly so I can get into Portree sooner, get to the store, restock on some things that I need, blister care supplies, essentials, and then I'm able to check into my Airbnb in Portree at 4 p.m. I'm going to try to shower quick, maybe wash my clothes quick if I have time. Then I have reservations at a restaurant that's really nice there in Portree. These birds are so loud. The benefits of it being a long, tough day yesterday is that I slept really well. I think the sun's almost coming out. Gotcha. All right, we're starting off day 4, Sligachen to Portree, and yeah, the sun's kind of out. It's behind the cloud right now, but it was out, I swear. It might come out again. Hi. Hi. Can I pass? Thanks, bud. Sorry to make you run. That's breathtaking. Up there you can see the Old Man of Store, and then down there I'm pretty sure that must be Portree. Portree's, I think, the largest or one of the largest city areas on the Isle of Skye, so yeah, I'm getting close. As you can probably tell by the title of this video and the fact that I am sitting in my apartment in Cleveland and no longer in Portree where we left off, I did not finish the Skye Trail. I had planned to spend my night in Portree at an Airbnb to give myself a break. I did my laundry, I restocked at some of the stores, and I had booked a really nice restaurant for dinner. So that was all great, went smoothly. However, I felt a little off when I went to bed that evening, and I woke up around 11:30, very sick with food poisoning, to the point that I had to go downstairs and ask my Airbnb host, who was living with me in the apartment, for cleaning supplies so that I did not permanently ruin her floors. It was very bad. It somewhat subsided in the morning, but I still felt just completely drained, exhausted, upset to my stomach. I was able to find a hotel in Portree that had an opening, which was shocking. Even the hotel receptionist, when I showed up, said she was very surprised to see a reservation come through, because as far as she knew, they were completely booked until September, as was the case with the majority, if not all, of the hotels in Portree. So I left my Airbnb because she had a guest coming the following night, and I went to this hotel. Basically, I laid in bed all day and slept on and off, and was only able to stomach a scone. I was not doing well. And as I was looking into planning for the remainder of the hike, how to get back on track, because I missed that next day of hiking, I was really struggling. And part of that was that I still felt completely awful, and I was worried whether or not I would be able to eat enough food to give myself strength to hike the next few days. And then also I was worried because the weather was showing some chances of thunderstorms over the next few days, including when I would be on the Trotnish Ridge. And I think it was a low enough risk that had I been in my perfect state of health, or my state of health from the morning before, I would have been able to safely do that and know that I would have sufficient energy to get myself out of a bad situation if I needed to. But I didn't feel the same level of confidence to do so in the state that I was in that day. So I began to explore other options. One of my thoughts was I could just skip the next day of hiking and then take a bus up to Flidigary and maybe hike the last day, but there were no hotel openings. I checked with a hostel at Flidigary to see if they had any open beds or even spots for campers, thinking I could take a bus out there, maybe hike a little bit, and then stay there and finish the hike from there. They had no openings, not even for campers. And so again, I just didn't feel like I had the strength to be out in the world without a reliable place to stay, a reliable access to a bathroom, all of those kinds of things. Ultimately, I decided the best and probably safest thing was for me to catch a bus back to Edinburgh the following day, which was really disappointing. The last portion of the Isle of Skye, or the portion that I had not yet hiked, is by far known to be the most awe-inspiring, breathtaking portion of the hike, and the part that I was looking forward to the most. Plus, as most people, I really struggled with not being able to see a thing all the way through. And so I was pretty disappointed, which is why I'm filming this outro here. I didn't have the heart to film it the entire remainder of my trip. I did try to make the most of my extra time in Edinburgh. I spent time in Glasgow. It probably took a good 3 full days for me to feel back to normal, for me to be able to stomach normal meals. And not a great end to the trip. I still had a really good time for the initial portion, and I'm telling myself that if anything, it's more of a reason to get back out there and finish it someday, which I do hope to do. It might be a few years because I want to see other things as well. So that's the story. It's kind of an abrupt ending, and I apologize for that, but I appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry I didn't get to capture the full hike. Yeah, I am actually going on another backpacking trip in Michigan tomorrow. I leave tomorrow. I'm going with one of my friends, and we're going to be hiking on North Manitou Island, which will be so fun. So if you want to see more backpacking, stay tuned. There will be more. I have a lot of other fun summer plans as well that I hope to document. If I had one piece of advice for people hiking the Skye Trail, it would be do not eat oysters, no matter how appealing they may sound in the moment. That's all I have to say about that. All right, see you soon.